pleasure to meet you. What's the name? My name is Lila. Yes, it's a pleasure. How are you doing today? I'm very well as well, thank you. Yes. So you're wanting to have your makeup done, but you're wanting me to show you my makeup routine. Yeah? Well, I can certainly do that for you, and I'll also do it in the order in which I apply my makeup. Now, I am by no means professional in any way, so you'll have to excuse if there is anything that may not make sense to you. So, what I will just do first is pop a towel just around your collar so we don't get any makeup on your shirt. How's that? Perfect. So what I always like to start by doing, I will be completely honest with you, when I wake up in the morning, I do not cleanse my face unless I shower that morning. And I alternate between showering in morning and night depending on the day. So I'm not going to cleanse your face today. Sorry about that. But what I do start by using is a moisturiser. And the one I'm using at the moment, again, I chop and change the moisturiser I use all the time, is a hydrating Oceanic Day Cream. This is from Lidl's. So yeah. Looks like this. It's just a normal moisturiser, really. This doesn't have SPF in it, so we will need to apply an SPF. Sometimes I buy moisturisers that do have SPF already in it, but this one just so happens that it doesn't. So, and we rub that all into the skin, and we make sure we get the neck as well. I do like to remember that because I don't want youthful looking skin and an aging neck. I don't think anybody wants that, really. Okay, that's quite a nice moisturiser because it doesn't leave my skin feeling too greasy, so hopefully it has the same effect for you. And I do have quite greasy skin, so. And then what I do also use is a retinol eye cream, which I will just have to find, so excuse me. Tell you what I'll do, I'll lift this chair. Here we go. So yes, retinol eye cream. This is from Boots. It's their own brand. I'm in the UK, obviously, so it depends on whether you can get that. Otherwise, I think a lot of places do retinol eye creams. I just apply a little bit to my finger, and then I will spread it between two, and then just pat that under the eyes. And if there's any left over, I like to bring it into my nasal folds because I do have quite prominent nasal folds genetically. I do also have mouth corner dimples, so at the end of the day they can be quite creased into my skin, so I do like to apply a little there as well. Okay, then as we discussed that the moisturiser doesn't have any SPF in it, I will use this Bondi Sands Daily Moisturising Face SPF 50+, very high protection, fragrance free, and this one is tinted. They do a non-tinted version as well. It's good to give it a little mix where it has the tinted factor. And I just apply this directly to the face, so I pop some on the forehead, a little bit on the cheeks, under the eyes, because we have such delicate skin under our eyes. It's good to focus there, on the chin, and then a little bit on the neck as well. And we'll get that all applied. Now I do like to use this because I really do not like wearing foundation with my skin type. It always seems to look cakey. It doesn't stay on where I have that greasy skin. It kind of just all comes off within a few hours. So I stick to tinted SPF and concealer, and that's it. Yeah, so we just get that all blended in, and the neck as well. Okay, so the next thing I go and do is concealer. I always change the concealer I use, but at the moment I will show you. To be honest, it's kind of whatever is most cost efficient to buy. I don't go by reviews or anything like that. I do quite like the Boots own brand, so that's number 17. Their concealer is really good. It's not too thick either, it's nice and thin. I change the colour I use all the time as well, but at the moment I'm using OOP, and the other one I'm going to use, just because it's a little bit lighter and we'll use it to kind of brighten up a few areas, is the Revolution IRL Filter Finish in C5, which is a soft matte concealer. Yeah. Now, the places I like to apply concealer probably are a little different than what one would typically do. So I like to apply it in the very far corner of my eye here, just underneath here. I don't bring it all the way to the middle, like underneath, so I do that both sides. I then will apply a little bit just down the sides of my nose here, a little bit here, and a little bit on my chin, and then whatever I have left over I kind of just brush into the rest of the skin, and I mix both of them. So I pop a little bit of the number 17 one, so just a couple of light dots down the nose, the chin, and your lower jaw. And I switch. That was close. It was already open. So this is the Revolution one. I just pat over it basically. Now, depending on the day, will depend on whether I use my fingers or a brush. I kind of chop and change, because sometimes I feel like if I use the brush too much, it starts to not blend into my skin properly, so I like to trick my skin by using my fingers. I know it's a completely ridiculous premise, but that's what I like to do. But for you today, I will use a brush. This is the Real Techniques 220, and it's called Light Layer Complexion. So it looks like that. And so I blend the corner of the eye, and I lightly bring that to under the eye. So we do that both sides. And then we do beside the nose. I don't really like to apply too much product on the nose. Again, with the greasy skin, it kind of just starts to look a bit blotchy, so doesn't really work out for me. So today you'll be getting exactly the same. And then whatever is left on this brush I will bring up over the forehead. Yep. Okay, so that is concealer all done. I do use a bronze and a blush. Now for bronzer, I have had this product for absolutely ages because I only need the tiniest dot and it spreads very liberally. So it's again brand 17 by Boots. It's so old the colour has rubbed off, so I can't tell you what the shade is, but it's a dark brown. And I will apply 2 dots. Now, as of recently, I've actually started changing where I apply bronzer. I always used to apply above, like the indent of my cheek, so kind of like more so onto the apples of my cheeks. But as of recently, I've started applying on that kind of indent. Yeah, I kind of did my makeup always the same way for years, and just recently I've changed a couple of things. So, and I also like to apply 2 dots on the forehead as well, just to frame the forehead. And for that I use a different brush. I use this one, which is again Real Techniques, and I think it says 249, but it says foundation buffing brush, but it's a little mini travel one, that's why it's a bit smaller. And we're just going to buff that in. Now I do have quite high cheekbones, so I guess it kind of depends on your face shape as to how this would work with you, but I guess because of that it just works best for me. And then I just rub the forehead there. Good. So this is where I've started doing things a little differently. I'm using the Huda Beauty blush in Bubblegum. It's a liquid blush, and I apply this directly under my eyes here. I'm sure you can probably see where it's a bit pinker. It's just the look I'm going for at the moment. I think it looks quite cool, a little bit edgy, and I just apply 2 little dots under the eyes. That's it. And any excess that I have I'll bring up over the top of my nose. So I literally just pat that, and I will bring that up, but just mainly focusing it under the eyes. And then just over the bridge of the nose there, I'll bring that over. Okay. Good. So that's pretty much the base of your face done. The only additional thing I do like to add is, excuse me, just looking for the right product. So I have freckles at like the highest point of my cheeks basically. I also have a couple of moles on my face. what I like to do is highlight those freckles and moles I have where they have been covered slightly with makeup. So I have a mole on my cheek here, I have a mole here, I have a mole on the tip of my nose just there, and then my freckles are here and here. But I have also just started adding freckles on the nose, because I always used to try to do nose contour, as I have a deviated septum which causes me to have a bit of a wonky nose, and I found just applying some freckles kind of made it look a little more even. So any beauty spots you have on your face, I am just going to highlight. Oh, and this is the NYX NYX Lift and Snatch. Is a brow pen, but I bought this and it was too like well, not ginger, but you know, a gingery kind of colour. It's called Caramel, and I'm just going to, yeah, it's like a brown, really, like a light brown, but it's got the like a red tone to it. And I will add a few little freckles around your nose. Oh, I have them on my forehead as well, like around here. They're very selective in where they want to be. And then I will just use my finger and dab them so they look a little more natural. Yeah. Alright. Okay, let's move on to your eyes. So the first thing I do is use this. It's called Incredibrow and it's by a brand called Collection. This is technically a brow pen or pencil again, but I use it as like an eyeliner, really. The colour is just called Brunette, and I apply this all under my eyes and a little bit in the corner. And we will blend that in with this. This came out of an eyeshadow palette from Shein, or Shein, however you say it. And I blend that in, and I kind of blend it up a little bit so it lifts the eyes, as I do have slightly downturned eyes. Okay. So now we have that like defining base. I use another liner under the eyes, which is oh, I really need to empty my makeup bag. There's so much stuff in it I do not use. It's just taking up so much space. So I will use this. It's Maybelline New York Tattoo Liner Gel Pencil, and it's a burgundy colour, and it has a very tiny little sparkle in it. I find this colour works best because I have green eyes. So I apply that just in the outside corners of the lower. And then I also like to apply this on the upper waterline. So you kind of need to close your eye on the pencil so I can rub it on the upper waterline. Yeah. And then doing that, if you open your eye, I like to focus on the inner corner of the upper lid. Yeah. I just don't really like eyeliner on like the actual upper lid of my eye. It doesn't suit me. So putting it in the waterline, it kind of just gives a little more depth to your eyes. I have fairly large eyes anyway, so oh, it's annoying when this happens. The tip of the end keeps getting stuck in the lid, so then I can't actually put the lid on. That might just have to be a problem for another day. Okay, that is a problem for another day. And again, I use the same brush and just blend that in on the under eye. You don't need to blend the waterline part. Okay. So then in the waterline, I'm going to use a white eyeliner pencil. Excuse me. This one is number 17. Any white liner will work really. So I'm going to pull on the lower lid and just do the outer corners of the lower waterline. I don't like to pull it all the way to the inner corner, just the outer parts. Lifts your eyes again, which we want that lift. And I do just blend it slightly with my finger so it's not so strong. Then the final pencil we will be using is this gold liner pencil. Again, this is number 17. I don't know if you can see that. It's just a really nice sparkly colour, which I'm going to apply to the inner corners just to brighten up your eyes a little bit. So I just apply it here and bring it up slightly. That's it. No eyeshadow or anything. No. So from doing the eye makeup, I don't do the mascara yet. I always leave that last. So I am going to do your eyebrows. Now I gel my eyebrows just because I prefer it that way. I did mention before, I do actually lose a lot of my eyebrow hair. It kind of goes in like a pattern, so they'll grow back, then they'll fall out again, but it's not the, so I kind of lose hair here and they kind of get sparser that way, and then I lose the tail. Now the tail is kind of growing back, but this tail is basically all just eyebrow pen. I'd rather be straight up and honest with you. This eyebrow is better. There is more hair, but yeah, the end of this tail is just all brow pen. So I will apply. Oh, excuse me, I didn't tell you what I was using. This is actually hair glue, like hair gel. It's got to be ultra glued indestructible styling gel. Where I ride a motorbike, I find using the hair gel, it actually makes my brows stay, because you wear a balaclava and it kind of moves around, the helmet brushes over your brows, and it can, by the end of a bike ride, you could sometimes look a bit ridiculous with like a smudged eyebrow up here. So using this, I just think is really helpful. And the little tool I'm using is the e.l.f. brow lift applicator. So I just apply that into the brows, and I use this side to just apply the product all over. Sometimes I do little circles so it gets all over. And then once I've done that and I know the product is everywhere, I brush them directly upwards. and get them as flat as possible. And then that's when I use the other side. I use this side to shape them so they're not directly up. They kind of look a little more natural of a shape. And then you can use the flat part just to flatten them. Sometimes you get that really stubborn eyebrow hair that no matter how much product you apply, excuse me, I'm just going to use this, no matter how much product, oops, I'll put that back on you. I'll say it for the third time, no matter how much product you apply, it just sticks back up again. And then I have a problem where I just end up trying to pluck it out, and that probably doesn't help towards my eyebrow loss, but so we'll leave those to dry for a moment because they will be tacky. They do dry quite quickly though. We will use a mascara. I always use a eyebrow curler, an eyelash curler. The one I use is the Tweezerman. I just like this one the best. And mascaras. I've been using the same mascara for years. I use the Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky High. I've always used this. It's the best mascara I've ever used. Before that, I did used to use a Max Factor mascara. I can't quite remember what the actual mascara was called though. It came in a black, kind of like ovally tube, but the brush was fairly similar to this one. It was just a little thicker. So I'm just going to curl your eyelashes. And again, I have mentioned before, I have naturally very long eyelashes. I always have, since I was a baby. Well, at that, I was born with a full head of hair that was like this long, and it was pitch black, but anyway. I do have very long eyelashes even if I don't use anything on them, but to make them thicker and just look nicer, I guess, I use either, let me find it, I'll show you. I can only show you one of them because I only have one of them here. This is empty. I don't have any of this left at the moment and it's too expensive for me to replace. It's Rapid Lash Eyelash Enhancing Serum. So I use that, but a lot of people don't recommend it only because it has a certain product in it which can cause darkening of your eyes, like dark skin under the eyes. It's, I don't really know how you say it. It's called like progesterone or something. Progesterone, something like that anyway. So at the moment I'm just using castor oil, and I do like to curl them a few times. This is the brush. I did used to use just the ordinary Maybelline Sky High, but when I started riding a bike I had to start using waterproof, otherwise I'd end up with mascara down my face. And I don't really have a systematic way of applying. I do not like to apply, I've seen some people apply where they go up and down. That's a big no-no for me. I think that brings them down, and we want them to be up, not straight. But I do know that some people's natural lashes do grow straight, so and I like to make sure that I get the very corner, like the outer corner lashes. lashes as well. Sometimes I do have to cut my lashes in the outer corner of my eyes, because what happens is, because they do truly grow into the very outer corner, they get tangled with my lower lashes, and it just gets very irritating, so I do sometimes have to cut them a bit. All right. I don't always apply mascara to my lower lashes. I have recently, only really on the days that I film a video, but I don't like to use black under my eyes because, again, I feel like it brings my eyes down. So it is still Lash Sensational Sky High, but it is the burgundy one. The colour's called Burgundy Haze. Looks like that, and I apply just to the outer corner lashes, because once again my lower lashes are really long. I don't know if you can tell, but they are also very long. Okay, oh, I'll tell you what I did forget. I forgot to apply this. This is really old, as you can see. It's very battered and looks not very nice, quite frankly. There is a cream eyeshadow in here, which is a very muted, reddy pinky brown, and I just pat that into the under eye slightly as well. It doesn't really do a lot, but it does something. Okay, so your eyebrows should be nice and dry for us. Good. And I'm going to use the same I used for the freckles and moles, the NYX NYX Lift and Snatch Professional Makeup Brow Tint Pen. This one is in ash brown though, which is more similar to the colour of my roots. More fortunately for you, you have a lot more eyebrow than me, so we don't actually need to fill in too many areas. Because they are very nice shape, very thick. Okay. Oh, there is a couple of other things I did forget as well. But we will sort it out, don't worry. Now, so I have double-lined lips, and I also have quite a long philtrum. So what I like to do is apply a little bit of this brown eyebrow pencil just into like where my cupid's bow meets, to try and make it look a bit smaller. I don't like to bring it up though, because I already have quite a prominent line. So this this kind of just gives the illusion that the distance is a little shorter. And then for the products I like to use on my lips, I do use a lip stain because I really hate the feeling of lipstick on my lips. I don't mind lip balm because it's kind of a nice silky feeling, but lipstick I have never ever been able to stand. Again, I know it's kind of bad to shop at Shein because it's fast fashion and not ethical in any way at all, and the list could go on, but the lip stains that they do are very good, so I apologise. And the two colours I alternate between using are Marvellous and Bare Blush, and today I'm wearing Bare Blush, so that's what I'm going to put on you. It's kind of like a thick lip gloss that you leave to dry and then you peel it off, and I always make sure, because I have double line lips on my top and my bottom, excuse me, I'm being childish, I just include the double line parts. Now once you've applied it, you can't really go over it again because it starts to dry straight away, and if you start applying another layer it kind of puts holes in the one you've already done, so we'll leave that to dry, and you don't really need a lot of it either. No, it's very effective. And for lip liner today I'm going to be using Massive Surprise number 17 Boots Own Make, and this colour is in Dusky Pink. It's just so affordable. I can't justify spending loads of money on makeup because the cost of replacing it is just extortionate, and the cost of living nowadays is ridiculous. Any expensive bits of makeup I have in there have been gifted to me. Yeah. So we'll leave that for a minute. What I will do is, whilst that's drying, is I'm actually going to put some finishing powder on you, which is what I use. This is also 17 Perfect Finishing Loose Powder. It's just like that. So I put some on a big brush. The info on this has worn off. $2.19, but it's Real Techniques. And I'll apply that under the eyes, just down the sides of the nose, a little bit on the forehead and the chin. So this should be, there we go, peel that off, and straight away your lips are just like there was nothing ever on it, but I am going to just line the top section here. And just the lower part as well. And that's it. Apart from that, I do apply a Carmex lip balm. I've always used Carmex, I just prefer their brand. But yeah, that is, I'll take this off of you, that is what I do for my makeup. So I hope it was helpful or informative for you, and you can use any of the tips and tricks